Hey everybody, Matt DeBerry, dogpost.com. It is November 19th, and Kirby Smart is out here throwing punches to the rest of college football. He had a lot to say after Georgia's win over Texas about his team's toughness and the state of college football. I mean, he is going all out. Lot to say. He followed that up on Monday, talking about why players leave Georgia, why it's tougher for a lot of kids. Listen, he's got the Dogs rolling right now. They're number 4 in the country, and he's talking. So that's what we're talking about in today's video. So if you missed it, here's the quote that Kirby Smart had to say after Georgia's beatdown, really, over Texas. He said, a lot of these kids, they want a check. They don't want physicality. If you have the check and have no physicality, you end up with nothing. We're not just giving out checks at our place. We're hitting people. And I don't know who that was directed at, if it was directed at anyone, but Kirby Smart's message to the rest of college football is, hey, we don't care that other programs are spending more money to get players. We're going to beat you with toughness. Year after year after year, this program is going to be in contention for the playoffs and for a national championship because of the culture at Georgia. And he has no problem saying it. He said, hey, if you're looking for a check, you're not coming here, right? They definitely do use NIL. I'm not trying to say that they don't, but they're trying to recruit the kids who aren't about solely, NIL, and they want to practice hard and hit people. And as someone who covers recruiting, it is kind of refreshing to hear a coach say that, because we know that's what they're talking about behind closed doors, right? It's tough for a lot of college coaches to not only keep them happy, but be able to give them what they want or ask for in the offseason to keep them around. So in this crazy state of college football, Kirby Smart saying, hey, we're a physical program. And if you don't want to hit, you can leave. And we're going to talk about transfers, guys who have left the Georgia program to play elsewhere, and what they're doing, because most of them aren't doing much of anything. So we're going to get to that in a second. But he was kind of asked about that on Monday too. I don't know if it was an exact follow-up from what he said on Saturday night, but he was asked about balancing physicality and practice with players not wanting it. And he said, we schedule them, right? The ones that want to leave, we make sure to schedule them in the future. We try to get them on the schedule because we know that if they want to leave because they're not physical, that means they're probably going to a place that's not physical. We like those places. We like to play them. We prefer it because we can get them on the schedule. It's one of those deals that if you don't run hard from life, you don't run hard from life. If you run hard from life, you'll find more hard. So Kirby loves these little sayings and stuff like that. He says them a lot, but his message really, and it's something that every coach wants to build their program around, but it's toughness, and he's made no mistake about that since he got the job at Georgia. Toughness, composure, physicality, those are core traits that he built the program with. And we see a lot of guys transfer, and I'm not saying a lot of it is because of them not being tough. Guys transfer for different reasons. Some of it is because of a paycheck, and some of it is because practice is too hard at Georgia. And if you're a player who leans either way, Georgia's not a fit for you. And that's basically what he said Saturday night and Monday night. Saturday night, he said, hey, we're not writing the biggest check, but if you want to be a dog and you want to practice and get better and play with toughness, this is the place for you. And then on Monday, he's saying, hey, sometimes guys leave because practice is too hard. And if you don't want to practice physically all week to prepare yourself for Saturday, this is not the place for you, right? So they do try to go get talent. But at the end of the day, again, I don't know if he's throwing direct punches. Some have said that was a punch to Sark about the writing paychecks and all that. And yeah, they've got two of the best players from the state of Georgia to leave the Peach State to go play for them. Justice Terry, obviously Tyler Atkinson. I'm not here to say that either one of them lack physicality. I'm just saying they took advantage of being a 5-star and then the money on the table. You can only be loyal to the in-state program so much when that type of stuff is on the table. But everyone's different, and a lot of people are turning down the money for physicality and end up at places like Georgia. So, Kirby Smart is saying it out loud. Hey, we're not about the writing checks lifestyle. We're not about that NIL. We'll play that game. We have to, and we'll do it more with guys that we really need. But at the end of the day, we are built on toughness. And if you don't want to play tough football and you don't want to have tough practices, this ain't the place for you. So let's talk about some guys who have left the program who are elsewhere. Okay, first guy, Sam Mpemba. He's made one tackle for Texas A&M. He played against UTSA and Utah State. Hasn't played since. He was a five-star linebacker that came in with Damon Wilson and Gabe Harris. He's gone. Speaking of Damon Harris, he's actually made a big impact for Missouri. 7 sacks. He wanted to rush the passer. Now he's getting a real chance to do that. He probably would have been in a position to make a lot of sacks with this Georgia defense. He decided to leave. And I'm not one to question his toughness because he was in the Georgia program for 2 years. Obviously got better. He's got 7 sacks from Missouri. Darius Smith at Missouri too. He's also made an impact. He's got 13 tackles and 4 sacks. He was an outside linebacker that played for the Dogs. He was the one that jumped up, tried to block that kick against Ohio State. But he's made an impact for Missouri. Marvin Jones Jr., not so much. He was at Florida State. Now he's at Oklahoma. You may not have known that because he's only made 15 tackles and 1 sack in 5 games. I think when he is healthy and getting after it, he's a decent player, but hasn't made that much of an impact for the Sooners. Troy Bowles, the linebacker that signed with Georgia with C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson in the 23 class. He transferred to Michigan. He's made 20 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. A.J. Harris, the 5-star cornerback from that 23 class. Thought he'd be a really good player. He transferred after 1 year, so maybe he didn't necessarily like the practices at Georgia. I know a few guys on this list certainly didn't, wanted to go somewhere easier. I'm not saying that's the case with A.J. Harris. I'm just saying it maybe was the case. He's made 29 tackles for Penn State this year and 1 pass deflection. So far from a game changer and a playmaker. So adequate numbers, nothing great. Jamal Jarrett, the former 4-star defensive tackle that Georgia signed, I think that was in the 23 class as well. He transferred to USC. He's made a whopping 3 tackles this year in his 3rd college football season. So that transfer away from Georgia probably worked in Georgia's favor, obviously not doing much at USC. However, Bear Alexander, the former 5-star, he made lots of plays as a freshman for Georgia's 22 national championship team. He's now at Oregon. He was at USC. He has made an impact for the Ducks. 39 tackles, half a sack on the interior for that Oregon defense. That is pretty good. E.J. Lightsey was he played at Fitzgerald. He was a 3-star linebacker that signed with Georgia. I believe that was in the 23 class as well. But he now plays at Georgia Tech and is doing well. He's made 54 tackles and a guy that Georgia will play against in a meaningful way on Black Friday in Atlanta. What about Julian Humphrey? He was a 4-star cornerback. Played a little bit for the Dogs, but just I'm not sure he was necessarily a team guy. That's probably a little over the line. But he's just not a very good player. It hasn't really worked out. He's at Texas A&M, by the way. Just 6 tackles. That's it. Just didn't work out at Georgia. Not sure it's working out at A&M either. Wouldn't surprise me if he hit the portal again. Jaheim Singletary, former 5-star cornerback from Jacksonville who signed with Georgia. I think that was in the 23 class. A lot of these guys from that 23 class definitely bounced. But he's now at Arkansas. He's made just 11 tackles. Hasn't turned into much. Yazid Haynes, right? The 3-star wide receiver. Probably haven't thought about him in a couple of years. He transferred to Syracuse. He's made 9 catches for just 117 yards, 0 touchdowns. Georgia's not missing that kid either. Tyler Williams, he was a 4-star, transferred to Minnesota. He's now in South Florida. Georgia's not missing him. He hasn't done much of anything. Denylon Morissette hasn't done much of anything for Purdue. 11 catches for 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. Chris Peel was a 4-star cornerback that signed with Georgia. He's now at Syracuse. He's made an impact, 36 tackles and 1 forced fumble for a bad Syracuse team. Justin Rhett, former safety, he's done nothing at Nebraska. Nitro Tuggle has done pretty well at Purdue. Purdue stinks, but he's caught 29 passes for 420 yards and 4 touchdowns for the Boilermakers. Former running back Andrew Paul, just 104 yards and 2 touchdowns for South Alabama. So if you look at the list that they've got, and if you're leaving Georgia, it's probably for 3 reasons. You can get a bigger check somewhere else. That's not the type of player that's going to thrive at a place like Georgia. You don't like the practices. It's too tough, right? You're obviously not, good enough or the type of player who could play for Georgia there either. And then another is the depth chart. You're just not playing, right? You are tough, you are physical, you're not getting a big dollar, NIL deal, but you're just not better than several guys in front of you, right? At some point you gotta play, and you can transfer for those reasons as well. But Kirby's out here saying, hey, if you don't want to be physical, if you're looking for the biggest check, you can go elsewhere. Go to other teams that we play. Other teams in this conference is, you're not coming here. We want certain type of players, and that's why we are the number 4 team in the country and in a position to win another national championship. You don't have to spend the most to win the last game of the season, and Kirby Smart is trying to prove that yet again. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. I'll see you over on dawgpost.com.